first time you ever use this drug, you can die.
You can get probably 3 to 4 times as much money selling heroin or fentanyl here as you can make, selling it on the street in Chicago.
In a popular tourist area known for its picturesque views of Lake Superior, we are getting an up-close look at a problem plaguing Minnesota's 4th largest city.
He finally disclosed to me, he said, "Mom, I'm sick because I'm addicted to heroin." And I had no idea.
One the pandemic only made worse.
It gets you right around the throat and it holds you hostage.
We've just got a very large population of addicted people.
As a member of the Lake Superior Drug and Violent Crime Task Force, we were asked to keep this officer's identity confidential.
Normally when the guys we're arresting see us is when we're arresting them and not before that.
He describes Duluth as a direct hub to the drug trade for the small towns that surround it, with the supply to the south from the Twin Cities and Chicago.
There's a huge market here. We've got a lot of treatment facilities here, a lot of halfway houses, things like that.
Investigators say it's a dangerous class of drugs at the center of too many tragedies the last few years.
There's no kind of definition of what a heroin user is. And it's been a teenage cheerleader at a local school that was buying heroin. One kid that had walked out of his room, handed his mom and dad Narcan and said, "If I go down, give this to me." A teenage kid that's that addicted to drugs that knows that they're probably gonna die, and to give their mom and dad Narcan so they can save them if they stop breathing.
Lieutenant Chad Nagorski serves as commander of the task force and sees the stats for himself in St. Louis County. Opioids like heroin and fentanyl behind 29 deadly overdoses in 2020, 42 last year, along with 346 people who overdosed but were ultimately saved.
And we've seen that throughout the pandemic, our numbers have gotten worse.
St. Louis County Attorney Kim Mackey has been focused on accountability in the cases where she can.
If a person is involved in the sale, distribution, delivery of a controlled substance that results in the death of another person, they can be held accountable for third-degree murder.
She is currently working 6 such cases. Prosecutors focus on proving the chain of custody of the drugs to hold dealers responsible, as transactions often play out on social media. Court documents detail a conversation last October when a Virginia, Minnesota woman reached out to David Chapman on Facebook Messenger. "Can you help me get some of that I was talking about the other day?" Chapman responds, "Yes, how much?" 6 hours later, Brooke Miller is found dead inside her apartment. The investigation revealed the heroin she thought she bought contained fentanyl. In another case last year, a Babbitt police officer found 19-year-old Devin Erickson slumped over in the driver's seat of his truck. A Snapchat message led them to 22-year-old Bryce Duncan and a buy of oxycodone pills, again laced with fentanyl.
As long as we determine that there's a reasonable likelihood of conviction, we will bring those cases.
The last significant changes made to Minnesota's illegal drug laws were more than 7 years ago, before synthetic opioids and fentanyl were much of a problem. Fentanyl is more potent, deadly, and carries with it more of a profit. It's why some county attorneys believe it's time the law catches up.
Right now, the thresholds for charging match that of cocaine and meth. And what we think should happen is that the threshold should be reduced to be at least equal with heroin because of how dangerous and addictive fentanyl is.
It gets you right around the throat and it holds you hostage.
Vicki Elliott shares her son's story with the hope it helps others find a way out. Known for his bright eyes, bear hugs, and outgoing personality, Cole struggled with depression and anxiety, eventually receiving a bipolar disorder diagnosis at 19. He spent 4 years in Duluth, where his mom says his addiction took control.
There's a very, very large community up there, and they support each other in getting drugs and finding drugs and selling other things to get money for drugs. He finally disclosed to me, he said, "Mom, I'm sick because I'm addicted to heroin." And I had no idea. So I said, "I'll be up there right now."
Cole finally agreed to treatment in 2018. 2 weeks later, he died at St. Mary's Hospital from a blood infection at the age of 24.
Things were put in my path that directed me to this position and the work that I'm doing. And yes, there are so many people out there struggling.
Vicki now serves as executive director of Mental Health Connect, a nonprofit in the Twin Cities offering insight on resources and services while working to reduce the stigma of an often secretive lifestyle.
Everything is booked up, and get on those waiting lists. Just put your name on all of them, and the first one that comes up, go. Just go.
Angela Von Tritek is Assistant Special Agent in charge of Minnesota's Drug Enforcement Administration.